High in the glaciers of the Tibetan Plateau, a great river begins its journey, known as the Yarlung Tsangpo in Tibet. It carves through deep canyons, gathering strength as it crosses into India, where it becomes the Brahmaputra. The river transforms into a vast braided waterway, sustaining millions in Arunachal Pradesh and Assam. It irrigates fields, supports local economies, and defines the rhythm of life, bringing both fertile silt and the threat of floods. Flowing into Bangladesh as the Jamuna, it merges with the Ganges to form a massive delta, essential for agriculture, fishing and transport. The Yarlung Tsangpo Brahmaputra Jamuna is a transboundary river, shared by China, India and Bangladesh. Its health vital to over 1 billion people. This shared dependency makes the river a symbol of connection, but also a potential source of tension. When one country acts unilaterally, the consequences ripple downstream, affecting millions who depend on its waters. In late 2024, China unveiled an audacious vision. Plans for the world's largest hydroelectric project on the Yarlung Tsangpo, a river that winds through the towering Tibetan mountains and skirts the sensitive border with India. The announcement sent ripples across the region, signaling not just a new engineering feat, but a bold geopolitical move. This mega-dam, set deep within the isolated and rugged terrain of Tibet, is designed to dwarf all previous hydroelectric projects in both scale and ambition. Its construction will reshape the landscape and the future of energy in the region. Once completed, it's projected to generate a staggering 60,000 megawatts of electricity, nearly triple the output of the iconic Three Gorges Dam, which itself was once considered the pinnacle of hydroelectric engineering. This would make it the most powerful dam on the planet. The dam's strategic location at the Great Bend, where the river plunges dramatically, allows engineers to harness an extraordinary drop in elevation. This natural feature provides the perfect conditions for generating immense hydroelectric power, making the site uniquely valuable. But its proximity to India gives China significant control over the river's flow just before it crosses into Indian territory, a strategic advantage that has not gone unnoticed by its neighbors. The project's location adds a layer of complexity to already delicate regional relations. China frames the dam as a leap toward clean energy and national development, emphasizing its commitment to reducing carbon emissions and securing a sustainable energy future for its growing population. For India and Bangladesh, however, the project is seen as a move that could shift the regional balance of power, potentially threatening water security and sparking new tensions over access to this vital resource. The project's unprecedented scale and sensitive location make it a flashpoint for both technological ambition and geopolitical anxiety, raising questions about the future of cooperation and conflict in South Asia. The fate of millions living downstream now hangs in the balance, their lives and livelihoods shaped by decisions made far upstream, decisions that will echo for generations to come. News of China's mega-dam has triggered deep anxiety in India, centered on the fear of water weaponization. Indian strategists worry China could manipulate the river's flow, holding back water in peacetime or unleashing floods in conflict. The dam gives China a powerful tool over a river essential to India's economy and millions of livelihoods. With no formal water-sharing treaty, India is left vulnerable to sudden droughts or devastating floods, unable to predict China's actions. The Brahmaputra's natural extremes, low winter flows and monsoon floods, could be worsened by the dam's operations. Indian scientists fear that unpredictable water releases could cripple agriculture, disrupt industries and create humanitarian crises. The lack of transparency and reliable data from China only deepens India's mistrust and uncertainty. Without cooperation, India must prepare for the worst, knowing its fate is tied to decisions made upstream. The river's future and the security of millions hangs in the balance. Beyond politics, China's mega-dam sits atop one of the world's most active seismic zones, the Indo-Tibetan Fault Line. This region has a history of massive earthquakes, including a devastating 8.6 magnitude quake in 1950. A similar event today could trigger catastrophic dam failure, unleashing a wall of water through Arunachal Pradesh, Assam and Bangladesh. The immense weight of the reservoir could even increase seismic risk, a phenomenon known as reservoir-induced seismicity. Chinese engineers claim advanced construction will make the dam earthquake-resistant, but the region's tectonic forces are immense. The gamble is not just financial, it's a risk to millions of lives downstream. International scientists warn that no structure can be truly safe in such an unpredictable environment. The specter of a human-made disaster, triggered by nature, looms over the entire project. The dam's site is not only geologically sensitive, it's an ecological treasure, the Yarlung Tsangpo Grand Canyon, a global biodiversity hotspot. This remote region, carved by the mighty river, is home to some of the most pristine and untouched wilderness left on the planet. Its steep cliffs and deep gorges shelter countless rare species, making it a living laboratory of evolution and adaptation. Construction threatens thousands of unique plant and animal species, many found nowhere else on Earth. The fragile balance of this ecosystem could be shattered, with some species potentially facing extinction if their habitats are destroyed or fragmented. The loss of biodiversity here would be a loss for all humanity, erasing genetic resources and natural wonders that have taken millennia to evolve. Roads, worker camps, and industrial activity will bring deforestation and landslides, permanently altering the landscape. The scars left behind by heavy machinery and construction will disrupt natural water flows, increase soil erosion, and make the area more vulnerable to future disasters. Once these ancient forests are cleared, they may never fully recover. The dam will trap vital sediment, starving downstream floodplains and deltas of nutrients essential for agriculture and ecosystem health. Over time, this sediment buildup behind the dam will reduce its capacity and effectiveness, while the land below grows poorer and less productive. Assam's fertile fields and Bangladesh's vast delta depend on this annual silt. Without it, soil fertility and food security are at risk. Farmers who have relied on the river's bounty for generations may find their crops failing, threatening livelihoods and increasing the risk of hunger in already vulnerable communities. The Sundarbans mangrove forest, the world's largest, relies on sediment to resist erosion and rising seas. These mangroves act as a natural barrier, protecting millions from storms and flooding, and supporting a rich web of life. Disrupted sediment flow could accelerate coastal erosion, making low-lying areas even more vulnerable to climate change. As shorelines recede and protective barriers weaken, entire communities may be forced to relocate, losing their homes and heritage. The environmental costs extend far beyond the dam's footprint, threatening millions who depend on the river's natural cycles. From fishermen to farmers, entire ways of life are at stake as the river's rhythms are disrupted and its gifts diminished. The price of power may be the loss of irreplaceable ecosystems and livelihoods, a cost that cannot be measured in megawatts or money, but in the future of people and the planet itself. For millions living along the Brahmaputra and Jamuna, the river is not just a body of water, it is life itself. It shapes daily routines, influences culture, and is the foundation of survival for entire communities. Every morning, families gather at the riverbank to collect water, bathe, and wash clothes, their lives intimately tied to the river's rhythms and moods. Agriculture here depends on the river's predictable floods and steady flow, which nourish the soil and sustain crops. When the river behaves as expected, fields flourish and harvests are plentiful. But any disruption, whether too much water or too little, can mean failed harvests, hunger, and growing food insecurity for families who rely on the land. Sudden water releases or unexpected shortages threaten not just the fields, but the very fabric of entire communities. Crops can be washed away or left to wither, and livelihoods are put at risk. Fishing families, too, face mounting challenges. As the dam blocks ancient migration routes and alters habitats, fish stocks collapse. This cuts off a vital source of protein and income, leaving families struggling to adapt and markets with dwindling supplies. The river is more than a resource. It is a highway for travel, a source of drinking water, and a spiritual center. Its cycles are woven into festivals, rituals, and the very identity of riverside communities, connecting generations through shared traditions. Unpredictable flows and declining soil fertility could force farmers to abandon sustainable practices passed down through generations, turning instead to costly chemicals and modern methods that may not suit the land. The uncertainty created by the dam casts a long shadow over the future. Families now wonder if the river will continue to sustain them, or if it will sweep away the life they have always known. The delicate balance between people and river, carefully built over centuries, is now at risk. Generations of wisdom and adaptation may be lost if the river's natural cycles are broken. The fate of entire communities now hangs in the balance, dependent on decisions made far upstream, decisions that will shape the future of the river and the people who call its banks home. Experts are divided on the mega dam's impact. Some Chinese researchers claim it could help regulate floods and provide more water in dry seasons for India and Bangladesh. In theory, the dam could smooth out the river's extremes, offering stability downstream. But Indian and international experts remain skeptical, citing the lack of trust and absence of a binding water-sharing agreement. Without real-time, reliable data, downstream nations can't verify China's claims or prepare for sudden changes. The risks, seismic, ecological, and strategic, may outweigh any potential benefits. Even with the best intentions, the danger of catastrophic failure or environmental damage is real. For many, the project is an unacceptable gamble with the lives and environment of the entire region. In response, India has announced its own major dam, the Siang Upper Multipurpose Project in Arunachal Pradesh. This counter dam aims to manage floods or droughts triggered by China's actions and generate up to 11 gigawatts of power. India hopes its reservoir can absorb sudden surges or store water during shortages, protecting millions downstream. Alongside construction, India is pushing for a water-sharing treaty and investing in satellite monitoring to track river flows independently. But the project comes with its own costs, submerging villages, displacing indigenous communities, and threatening local ecosystems. Environmental groups and residents have voiced strong opposition, forcing India to weigh national security against domestic and ecological concerns. The dam race risks escalating tensions and compounding environmental damage. The region faces a dilemma: security or sustainability. The Yarlung Tsangpo Brahmaputra has sustained civilizations for millennia, but today it's a flashpoint for regional rivalry. China's unilateral dam building has set off a chain reaction, with India and Bangladesh caught in the middle. Water, the most essential resource, is now a tool of power and potential conflict. The expiration of other water treaties adds to the uncertainty, making cooperation more urgent than ever. Without dialogue, the future could see water weaponized, dams built for leverage, and millions living in fear of engineered floods or droughts. The survival of ecosystems and communities depends on leaders choosing cooperation over confrontation. Only a robust international treaty, ensuring data sharing, equitable water use, and joint management, can secure the river's future. The mighty Brahmaputra can remain a source of life, but only if nations act together, not alone.